After Harry Potter graduated Hogwarts, he enrolls into a new medical school, rents a room from a classmate, and starts doing experiments in his basement centering around bringing dead tissue back to life. Got it. Two things right off the bat. One, Jeffrey Combs in this movie plays Herbert West, who just straight up looks like Harry Potter. There is no debate about this. He looks like Daniel Radcliffe's stunt double. Or, I guess Harry Potter looks like Herbert West because this movie came out before the books. Maybe J.K. Rowling was a huge Reanimator fan. Number two, the score for this movie is just psycho. Obviously, I'm not the first one to say that, but it's a thing that needs to be said. I love Psycho, and that score is so iconic that the composer for this movie's score must have gotten away with ripping it off by using the Vanilla Ice defense.
Ding 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 diggy ding ding. Ding 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 diggy ding ding. Ding ding ding. That's the way theirs goes. Ours goes ding 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 diggy ding ding. Ding 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 diggy ding ding. That little bitty change. It's not the same.
Spoiler alert for both this movie and this review. I really like this movie, but this review came off very negative to me when I was writing it. So I just want to put this disclaimer here because, again, I really like this movie. I just don't love this movie because the comedy in it simply doesn't work for me. Some things are funny, but for me personally, nothing in this movie makes me laugh out loud or think of this movie as a comedy, which I think kind of skews my enjoyment of it. This movie is a dark comedy, but if you take away the comedy aspects of it, the movie itself is really great. But for me personally, it's missing a critical element of what makes this movie such a cult classic. That being said, Jeffrey Combs plays the part of Herbert West perfectly. He is this scene-chewing maniac who you really feel is throwing everything in his life into his work and succeeding. His experiments and formulas work, and most of the time, he is right about everything he does. He just does everything in this outrageously unethical way. I honestly think the movie should have leaned more into a moral debate, or at least having the roommate Dan, played by Bruce Abbott, just have some issues with what Herbert is doing in the movie. But somehow watching a dead cat come back to life and scream in pain as it's alive with just a mutilated, mangled body immediately makes the normal guy in the movie just 1,000% on board with helping this insane guy he just met inject his formula into dead humans. Barbara Crampton, who plays Megan in this movie, is the audience stand-in. Just this character completely off-put by how weird and uncomfortable the Herbert West character is to be around, and much like Herbert, pretty much right about everything in the movie. The Megan character immediately to her boyfriend Dan is like, I don't trust this guy. He is creepy. He shouldn't be your roommate. These two should be the main characters, with Herbert as the wacky kind of side character who moves the plot along, which the Dan and Megan characters are kind of the main characters and the protagonist whose love story is the heart of the movie. But it's not really the driving force of anything happening in the movie, which is weird because the movie frames Herbert West as the protagonist going into the third act of the movie, and David Gale, who plays Dr. Carl Hill, as the antagonist. But when that reveal happens in the movie that Dr. Hill is the bad guy, the movie up to this point hasn't really given us a reason to be rooting for the Herbert West character. He kills a cat and Megan's dad, and then causes the Dan and Megan characters to break up. The thing that had always been weird to me about this movie is Herbert West is clearly a bad guy. He is portrayed as a bad guy, and then within the last 20 minutes of the movie, he is just treated like this conquering hero almost. Again, this is all my interpretation, and you could have a completely different take on this movie. It's always just struck me as weird how the movie frames Herbert, Dan, and Megan, especially in the last 20 minutes. Now, none of that means this movie is bad. It isn't. And I really like this movie. I like the twist on the zombie format where the movie isn't really a zombie movie. It's about bringing back people from the dead, but we really only see zombies in the last, 20 minutes? The rest of the movie is just this pseudoscience of if you could really scientifically bring back the dead, How would you go about it? And more importantly, how would you test it? I love the idea in this movie of the serum only works on the newly dead. And my favorite scene in this movie is Dan and Herbert in the morgue going to the different bodies, and Herbert keeps explaining why the different ways the bodies died makes them not good choices to be brought back. Dr. Hill is such a creepy bad guy even before he is killed and then comes back to life. His infatuation with the Megan character really dials his character up from just being a one-dimensional academic foil to Herbert into this creepy and deranged sex pervert narcissist who not only wants to steal Herbert's work, but also just wants to steal Megan away from Dan. First, by overtly flirting with her in front of him, and then when that doesn't work, just by forcibly stealing her away from him. The pace of this movie is absolutely perfect. The premise is interesting, and the execution of the story, along with the casting, are just about pitch perfect. Throw in the rip-off Psycho score, and this is a fun little movie where if the humor works for you, there is a lot to like about it. And if the humor doesn't work for you, it's still a really, really bloody, zombie-filled romp at the movies. And there you have it. Reanimator. Tomorrow, you will be getting videos on the 28 trilogy and Overlord. So, as we play catch up, as the 31 days of Halloween Hullababoo is almost over a week from today. So, will we have 31 movies in 31 days? Yes. How we will do it, you'll have to stay tuned and find out. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. See you tomorrow.